When you're running an e-commerce business, there's millions of things that you need to do, but there's only so many hours in the day. And let's be honest, the things you probably should be working on, you've got no idea how to do anyway. I know, I get it. I run multiple online stores. I coach hundreds of founders inside the Ecommerce Academy, and my business does millions of dollars a year, but I only have 3 full-time staff. And in this video, I'm going to share with you the exact AI tools that I use in my business, how I'm using them, how you can use them so you can plug and play them straight into your business to save you time and get results faster. Now, as an e-commerce founder, this tool literally changed everything for me a few months ago. You see, prior to running my own brands, I used to be an e-commerce manager, and what that job entailed was going in and managing the website every single day. Like, that's updating the theme, doing SEO, uploading products, creating collections, creating blog posts, analyzing the data, and that was my full-time job. Now, this tool has basically replaced that entire role, and it can do it for you using an AI agent. It's called Shopify Sidekick. I use it every single day, and the things I'm using it for is, editing my theme, but not just, editing the content. It's actually creating theme sections for me. So we can go in there and we can type in exactly what we want for a theme, and we can create a custom section. So I don't need to use a developer. The other thing we're using it for is, asking it for data analysis. So we're saying, where are our conversions coming from? What traffic sources are working really, really well? How do we improve the conversion rate on our website? How do we increase our upsells? What is it that we need to do to improve our business? We're also using it to create blog posts for us, but blog posts based on what people are browsing on the website. We're also using it to create collections for us. We're also using it to create product descriptions, upload products. We're using it to do so many things that used to be a full-time role and we needed an expert for. The AI now does it for us. Okay, so this tool is one you've probably heard of, and it's called ChatGPT, but we're not using it like everybody else. We've actually built custom GPTs inside ChatGPT to do the work for us. Let me give you an example of what we've done. So we've created this one here, which is called the Dose Creative Director. And what we've done is we've filled it with a whole heap of information about our business. We've uploaded all our product details, our customer reviews, any market research we have on the category they're in. And what we've also done is we've pulled all our templates from the Ecommerce Academy on best practices for marketing and uploaded as well. So we've got landing page frameworks, email campaign frameworks, ad copy frameworks, product page frameworks. We're effectively training it to become an e-commerce expert that we can ask questions all the time. Let me show you the sort of questions we're asking it. So if we want to create an ad, we would just click, I want to create a meta ad. So I'll just pump a bit of information here and show you what the outcome looks like. So I just answered a few questions and it's now crafted an ad perfectly for my business that hits the pain points. It's well structured. It's set up correctly. It's written by an expert. This has basically saved me hours and hours of work. I don't need a copywriter and it can do it for me. But that's not all we use this thing for. If you go back, we can see we've set up some other prompts in there, creating landing pages, product descriptions, blogs. We can basically ask it anything because it knows everything about my business and it has also been trained as an e-commerce expert with the frameworks from the Academy. Now, this next AI tool is an absolute must for any e-commerce business. You see, what I learned running e-commerce stores was if you could respond to a customer really fast when they had a question, the likeliness of them converting and buying from you was much greater. So you could increase your conversion rates. Now, the old way we used to do that was we'd hire teams of, customer service agents. We'd either outsource them or hire them locally. We'd have 10 to 15 customer service agents that will be on live chat, responding to emails, picking up phones. But at the end of the day, they're just humans and they need a rest and they can't work 24/7. But AI can. So the tool we've implemented is called VoiceFlow, and it is a customer service chat agent, and it does, written chat, but also does voice chat. We're just using it now for the live chat feature to have, live chat on 24/7. But the cool thing about this tool is you can build out, these automated agent workflows. We can set up the persona of the type of agent that we want. We can send different sort of greetings. We can do different things based on the way people interact with the chat. It's a really, really cool tool. But the cool thing about this is we can load knowledge into this. So in VoiceFlow, there is a knowledge base. And basically what we do is we just upload lots of different information about our brand, the way we want questions to be answered. And we're effectively training this custom agent exactly how we want it to respond. Let me show you how it works in our store. So we've called our agent Ava, and she's asking what I'd help with today. So I've just told her I want to buy some coffee. Now she's going into the knowledge base and she's going to come and answer to us. Now we've crafted this AI agent in such a way that it feels like a real agent. So she answers really nicely in our tone of voice, and she gives us a few options, and it lets me know what we're looking for. So I'm just going to say, I'd like both. and we'll see what she says. Great, so she's actually suggested a product for us, right? And then, would you like me to guide me through the purchasing process? But we can actually say, are there any discounts? Great, and she's come back with our discount. So she knows the discounts that are happening in the store. What if we ask her another question on, like how do we use it? And so not only does she know what products we sell, she actually knows exactly how to use it, right? So it's actually pretty cool. And this is all based off the knowledge base. Now, this can go to another level with voice flow. We can actually do voice calls. We can do different triggers into different apps. It can, bake itself into Shopify or other different apps. So we're just using it for live chat now, but we know that the capabilities are endless as we want to build this agent out. Now, this next AI tool is pretty much what we sort of think about when we think about AI. And it's where it creates people and it does things for us and creates videos and creates images. But we want to use this to grow our business. Now, the tool is called HeyGen. And the idea of this tool is that you can actually use video avatars, you can manipulate them with text, and it will generate video for you. But that's not the coolest thing. You can actually upload videos of yourself and it can create videos just of you. Let me show you how we're using it. So I've actually created this avatar here of me. And if we click into there, this is a video of me holding one of our products, right? And so if you have a look at it here, it's just a video of me holding a product and explaining the product. So it's got my voice, it's got my movement, it's got everything. But let me show you a couple of things we can do here. So, first we could make it do some pointing, right? Let's have a look what happens here. Okay, points to the bottle. How cool is that? We can make it do a fist. Now I haven't really done this. It's actually doing it for me. Let's see if it does counting fingers. Okay, not too bad. Got some counting fingers there. Let's see if it does waving. Okay, not too bad. It does a little bit of waving. So the cool thing about this is it's not just about changing the voice. It's now changing the motions as well. But let me show you how I use this avatar. So I'm going to go back and I'll show you my projects. I'll open this project here. So what I've done is I have created a script and I've written the script in here, right? So this is a script that finally my custom GPT made for me. And what I can actually do is in this script, we can highlight something and add a gesture directly into that part of the script. Okay, so we can do the pointing, the counting, all that sort of stuff. What this means is that it's going to do movements that I want to do at the right time. It's going to use the voice of me. It's going to, use the script of me, and I actually haven't done anything, which means I can pump out hundreds of these videos with different split tests of videos everywhere, right? Let's have a look at what this looks like. Now I'll press play.
You know that awful choice between quick coffee that tastes bad or great coffee that takes forever? With dosed premium coffee concentrate, you get cafe quality coffee in seconds. No machines, no mess, no waste, just pure coffee and water brewed to perfection, ready when you are. Make it hot, iced, strong, or smooth. 15 barista level coffees in every bottle for around $1.99 each without the cafe queue. Better taste than pods, cleaner than instant, and kinder to the planet. Dosed. Coffee without compromise.
Now it looks a little bit dodgy. My voice sounds a bit different to me, but if this was an ad, people wouldn't realize that. There's these jump cuts, everything in there. Now I could refine this a little bit to make it better, but you can sort of see the potential of this. We've been playing around with this and it is a really cool tool for us to be able to pump out loads and loads of content. While we're on this topic of video editing, this next AI tool allows you to take one piece of content, cut it up into hundreds, if not thousands of pieces, and lets you distribute it across the internet, across all the social media platforms, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, right? And if you've been following me for a while, you'll know the importance of content when it comes to growing an e-commerce business, right? We want to be putting content all the time to engage with our prospects and our customers. So the tool here is called Opus Clip, and this is how it works. Let's just say I created a really cool video, which it is a really cool video, and I want to cut this up into small pieces of content and distribute them out there, right? So what I'd do is I'll grab the URL, okay? I go across to Opus Clip, and I paste the URL directly in here. Now what that's going to do is that's going to download the entire video and it's going to cut it up into multiple individual shorts. Now it's not just going to go off and cut the first 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It's going to go and actually find the best parts of the video, cut it up, put captions on it, make sure that it's edited well and it's going to be shareable and it's got the great hook on there, and it's going to let you then upload it. Now I done one earlier, so let me show you how it looks. So here you can see it's actually given me 24 clips from this one video and it's taken the best ones. So let me click one of these ones here. What if you could grow your Shopify store just by talking to it? No need for developers, no need for designers, no complicated apps. You just ask it to do something and it does it for you. Well, I've been using Shopify's new built-in AI agent. So you can see it's put the captions on it. It's done a really good hook in there. It's cut it. It's made it really, really good, right? Let's have a look at another one. So what I'm going to do, just because you're watching this video, if you're one of the first 10 people to join the bootcamp this month, how good's that? Let's have a look at another one. Not only that, showed me the screenshots, it's put it into the right aspect ratio. It's done it all for me, so I don't need to worry about it. And so if we wanted to, we could, edit the clip here. We could just download it so we can upload it ourselves, or we could schedule it to go into any sort of platform. It's a really game-changing tool if you want to get as much content out to as many platforms as possible. Now we're on the topic of video editing. I'm going to show you this next AI tool, and it's going to help you edit videos. It's one that I use almost daily, and I use it across all my businesses, whether it's, this YouTube business, whether it is inside the Ecommerce Academy or on my online stores. It has just sped up everything for me. Now, the tool is called Descript, and this is how it works. Let's just say you have a video and you need to cut some things out of it. Rather than sort of throwing it into a video editing tool and, trying to cut the keyframes and doing all that sort of stuff, you can edit videos with words. It's quite wild. So you would upload your video into Descript. And here's one that I've created earlier on a tutorial on how to use Shopify. And what I can effectively do is I can go through and let's just say I want to cut something out of this. This one here, we would grab this. And as you can see, it's highlighting down the bottom here, and I can just delete it, right? I can just press delete, and that's gone out of the video, right? So it transcribes the video and it allows you to effectively edit it by deleting the transcription. It's pretty insane. So I can just go through and read this video, the script, and just cut out anything that I want. We can cut out the ums, the ahs, the little bits and pieces that people say, like the filler content, the coughs, we can stop, we can cut out the gaps, we can do everything. But it also has some other really cool tools in here. So let's just say I'm not always looking at the camera. We can choose this eye contact button and it makes my eyes always look at the camera. We can send to the speaker. We can do green screen in the background, so I could change my background. We could repurpose clips. We could do lots of different things. We can even do things where if we replace the text in the script, it's going to change what I say and it's going to say it in my voice. So it's going to start doing that for us. And then if we're happy with the way it looks, we would just click export. We can export it as a video. We can export it directly to a live link. We can just export the audio if we're doing podcasts. We can do a GIF. We can do transcripts, you name it, we can do it, all with just editing the words to edit the media. Now, this AI tool is one of those tools that you never realized you needed it until you've got it, and now you can't live without it. Now, the tool I'm talking about is called Grain, and I use this for all of my meetings. So as you can imagine, I coach hundreds of e-commerce founders, and what I like to do is take notes in every single meeting. But now I have an AI agent that sits in the background and takes all the notes for me, and that's Grain. And the way it works is it transcribes the video as you're talking, whether it's on Zoom or Google Meets or wherever, and it turns it into summaries. So you can sort of see, this was a coach's check-in we had recently, and you can see, I blurred it out because I don't want you to see what our coaches talk about, but you can see that it's taken all the notes. Now, this isn't just a transcription, this is a summary of the meeting. So it listens to the conversation and it summarizes the sentences so it's easy for you to digest. But that's not the coolest bit. We can also go through on the right-hand side and we can make clips of the content, we can add comments to it. And then what we can do is we can actually share this with the other people on the call. So this is great for my team, the coaches that help out in the academy, because we might take notes and we might talk about it, something that might have happened on a call. So if one of my coaches has a one-on-one with an e-commerce founder, we take a copy of that call and then we can actually talk about it as coaches and try and help that member out. And we can comment back and forth on this. We could cut clips out and send it to the students. We could cut clips out and use it in our training. It's a really cool tool. The other thing that is really awesome about it is, we can share these recordings with our students so they can watch it, they can see our notes and they can see the transcriptions. But what we can actually also do is we can create these things called templates. And these templates are basically the way that we want to summarize the information of the call. So there's not one single approach. Let's just say I'm running a training call that I'm recording. I might want to summarize that differently so that when I upload that recording into our campus, the summary is going to be clear and succinct to what's in it. And then the final thing I really love about this is it listens to the call and gives to-do lists. So check out this. These are all the to-do actions out of that meeting. So it's going to listen to the meeting and it is going to find out what actions they were and assign them to the right person. Now, this AI tool, I recently did a full tutorial about because it's so powerful, and it's Klaviyo. Now, Klaviyo is typically an email marketing platform, but as all these big platforms are getting now, they're baking AI directly in. So I'm using Klaviyo AI to do a couple of things. Firstly, I'm using it to create email automations. So think about a welcome series or a cart abandonment series, all the sort of standard flows. We can use AI to build that. We just type in a prompt directly into Klaviyo, the AI goes out and it builds the automation for you just like that. So you don't need to sort of be an automation engineer. The other thing I'm using it for is to create content inside of emails. It's helping me build out the emails, write the text, decide where I want to do the layouts, the sections, all those sorts of things. So I don't need to be a template builder. The other way I'm using it is to create segments. So we can go in and we can interrogate the data and say we only want to send to people who meet these certain conditions, and it creates a little bucket that we can send emails to. It means that we're sending super relevant emails really quickly to the right people. And then the last thing that I'm using it for is their predictive analytics AI. What this is it looks at all the history of purchases in your store, and it determines when someone is more likely to buy from you. So imagine you knew that. You could then send that person the email and prompt them to buy from you because they're more likely to buy based on all the history they have in you. And that's called the predictive analytics AI inside Klaviyo. It's a game changer. Now, this next tool is the gold standard when it comes to AI agents. Now, if you haven't used an AI agent before or heard what an AI agent is, it's basically like a digital worker for you, right? You give it a role and you give it something that you want it to do. Then you give it a brain, and then you give it some tools that it can work with. And it can go off on its own and it can do the task for you. So let me give you an example. Imagine you wanted someone to check your emails for you. You'd have to train them up. You'd have to tell them how to respond to your emails. They'd have to have a brain or know how to respond, and they'd go and do it for you. Now, we can get an agent to do that. We can plug it into your email inbox. We can tell it how we want it to do it, and it can go and do it for us. Now, the tool we're using is called N8N. Let me show you a template that it has. Let's have a look at one of the templates that N8N gives us. So this one here is a basic Gmail labeling workflow, right? So the way it works is it plugs into Gmail. It then has this agent sort of set up in the background. It then uses OpenAI's ChatGPT as its brain, and then it has access to sort of all these tools, right? So what's happening here is when an email comes in, it does the thinking using the AI, and then it applies the labels based on what the agent knows, right? So it's going to do that for you all in the background. But that's sort of the most basic use case. We're using it to notify us in Slack. We're using it to, do research for us and summarize it and email it through to everyone on the team. It's, basically anything that you can think of, it can do. You can see here there's over 4,000 workflow templates. And if you just sort of browse through this sort of gives you ideas on what you can do, right? Personal AI assistants, chat with a database, chatbots. We can analyze landing pages. It can do anything, right? And the cool thing is there's an infinite amount you could make. So you could have one that has one role that talks to another one that has another role, and then they go do all this work for you. So you can start to build out this entire sort of workforce of AI agents using N8N. Now, here's the big thing to understand about AI tools. And the biggest mistake that most people make is they go and say, what tool should I be using? What are the best apps out there? And it's probably the reason you're watching this video, but that's the wrong question. The question should be, what problem do I have in my business right now that is taking up a lot of my time that AI could automate? Then go out and find the right tool for that problem. Don't try and find the tool and then find the problem that it will solve, right? That's the way that you speed your business up. I didn't implement all these tools at once. I implemented them one after the other as I found different problems and, roadblocks in my business. I said, well, maybe I can get an AI tool to help me with that. And then I just stacked time and time again. And now my business runs, on relatively autopilot. Now, if you want help doing this, I do run an e-commerce bootcamp down below where we don't just talk about AI automation, but we talk about how to grow e-commerce businesses, how to make your business more efficient, how to optimize your store, how to get more sales. I'd love to see you there. I've got a link in the description below. Otherwise, I've got a couple of videos up here that I think would be really awesome for you to try right now if you are looking to grow your business or optimize using AI.